This is a huge warning for middle class America in 2024. The videos I'm about to show you are very disheartening. It's very frustrating. There is a silver lining to this. There's a massive transition in our wealth timeline. There's a brand new wave of innovation and technology coming in. And if you develop financial literacy, financial discipline, you learn how to earn, you learn how to protect and grow during these volatile times, you could radically transform your family's timeline. But getting rich in crypto is not going to get you there. That's not it, family. It's understanding how money moves through the system. If you make $30,000 a year and you have bad spending habits and you don't have the financial literacy or understand how money works, if you make a million in a speculative asset, you're just going to have more bills. What's more important than anything is rewiring the foundation to end up in a different situation. My name is Coach JV. What I work to do is make very complex macro and microeconomic strategy very simple so the normal everyday person can implement them. I have two amazing free resources for you. So number one is setting up a free consultation with my licensed insurance team in all 50 states and Canada now in the description of this video down below. We show people how we insure our money during these volatile times. It's a very powerful part of my diversification strategy. I use insurance cash value to protect my money, my wealth, and access money at the back end of my life tax free. Okay, so if you want to learn how to do that, click the description. You can set up a free consultation or click the link in my bio. Also, this evening, today is what's the date today? Today is May 16th. May 16th, 2024, Wednesday. In the description, I'm having a free webinar. It's 5 p.m. Arizona time. I think that would be 7 p.m. EST or 8 p.m. EST. Anyways, when you click the link, it's an absolutely free webinar. I'm going to break down my 5P framework. So what I talk about on the back of my video, I'm going to be doing a webinar series tonight to break that down for you. You register for the webinar. It's absolutely free to attend. And I'm going to break down exactly what I'm talking about to demystify all this. All right. So let's dive right into that's in the description of the video or in my social media platform. All right. So let's go into this. Oh man, I know this stuff is not exciting. This isn't Bitcoin to, 180,000. This isn't XRP to whatever. This is the stuff that I pay attention to. And this is how I make my moves for my family, finances, and my future. Okay. This is Jenny. This is what she's focused on. You have to go watch this full interview. Okay. So I'm just going to focus on one part where they're talking about tax cuts and things like that. Okay. Then I'm going to show you her in front of the House committee and what is actually happening, guys. Right now, she's over there on this interview. She's in a state, I think it's Virginia, and she's worried about getting internet access to people. That's what they're worried about right now, guys. The middle class cannot even survive right now. The middle class is struggling. Every time I go to the grocery store, it seems to get more expensive. I'm a single dad. I cook meals for my kids I try to make meals every night. I went to the grocery store last night. It was $140. It's been like 60 on average just to go get a meal. You go to a regular restaurant, it's like $100 minimum. The consumer credit index is at an all-time high right now. People are stacking their credit cards. People's savings are drained. The silver lining in this is there's a very, very speculative asset called crypto where you can make a large amount of money during the bull run, but you have to make sure that you take profits and you multiply that money. So let's listen to what's going on right here, and then I'll break down the next video.
Also over the weekend was talking about the Trump era tax cuts that are set to expire next year. Trump over the weekend said Biden will give you a tax hike. If it was up to Trump, it would be a cut on upper, middle, lower, and the business class. Are you envisioning these tax cuts to be extended?
Well, what President Biden has said, and I certainly strongly agree with it, is that we want to make sure that working families earning under $400,000 are not faced with a tax hike. But all of the wealthy individuals and corporations that benefited from the Tax Cut and Jobs Act, where there are provisions that are going to expire, the president, for the sake of working families and tax fairness, believes that the rich and corporations should pay their fair share.
Okay, so if you follow my narrative around Ray Dalio's changing world order, if you watch the video I showed you, if I've showed you the videos, guys, the changing world order, it's exactly what happens. The left tries to distribute wealth. The right tries to protect the wealth, and it causes massive divide. We're literally experiencing this, guys. Okay, hear what you just said. We're going after the rich. We're going to tax the shit out of the rich. But I'm going to give you the totally other narrative around that. It sounds good for campaigning. It sounds good to get reelected, but I'm going to show you, this is a longer video right here. I showed you guys this last week. We're going to watch the Bionomics. We've had 19% of cumulative inflation since 2020. You make $19,000 left, just in simple terms, just to keep it simple. You can feel the pressure, right? Comment down below. Can you feel the pressure? We can feel the pressure in our businesses. We own 7 companies. We can feel the pressure. It's way more expensive to run our companies. And the number one expense is what? Team members, guys. Either you get more effective. So this is the thing. Yes, they're going to tax the shit out of the rich, but who owns things that are 400,000 above? Corporations. And guess what corporation going to have to do? Cut team members. So you're not helping the middle class. You're actually going to make them lose jobs. So we're going to watch this longer video. And then remember what she said. They're all about the people. But at the back end of this video, the guy shows a document where it says that Biden, no. He's saying one thing, but in this document, he's actually going to be going after the middle class as well.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Secretary Yellen, for joining us today. As you know,
just so you know, we're going to watch 2 different, are they called chairmans? Anyway, she's testifying before the House committee. 2 of them are going to speak, so it's going to be a longer video. So get your notes out.
Last month, the inflation came in hotter than expected for the 3rd month in a row, which is a hit to American families by itself, but it's not just a one-time impact. Inflation is cumulative, and hardworking Kansans have been suffering for 3 years now, as this chart behind me indicates. You know, since Joe Biden took office, inflation's up over 19%. Joint Economic Committee estimate that Kansans are paying an average of nearly $1,000 more per month for the same goods and services, the same food, the same clothes, the same gas, the same rent that they did in January of 2021. And since then, in total, the average Kansan household has spent $23,600 more due to inflation. At the same time, net income
right there, that was even more, 23,000. So if you made 100,000, you made 87,000 without doing anything.
is down almost 4%. I know your boss and his administration like to point to rosier numbers, but the fact is, for everyday Americans, the chart behind me is the epitome of Bionomics, and it's a complete failure. You know, several years ago, Secretary, you mentioned that and called inflation transitory. And since you said that, I think that's the wrong word, but I guess I'd like to ask you what you would call inflation now. What word would you use?
Well, inflation has come down considerably, and the consensus of
On what planet?
thinking among economists is that it was largely due to supply shocks that are mitigating, and our inflation has been quite similar to that in other advanced countries around the world, which suggests it was due to supply shocks connected with the pandemic.
I think you'll have a difference of opinion in economists. I mean, we even had Democrat and Republican economists in 2021 talking about the extra spending that was coming, proposed by the administration, that was actually going to result in this inflation, and actually that's what we've seen. Well, you know, I think most Americans would use phrases like crippling or painful or hindering the pursuit of the American dream. In fact, my constituents tell me about the challenges they face when they—
Guys, this is important to fall. I know people want to fall off right now. This is not exciting stuff, but this is how I manage my wealth and my money, is these waves of energy. I'm understanding what's coming, guys. We got to get ready for this.
Fill up their cars or buy the groceries or pay the rent or mortgage. And the numbers show the pain behind me that's still continuing to increase to this day. They're the results of Bionomics and the policies that have been increased by the Democrats over the last 3 years.
I think Americans care.
I do also want to switch gears a little bit before I run out of time. You mentioned earlier that in the discussion with Chairman Smith that President Biden was not going to increase taxes on people making less than $400,000. In fact, I have a tweet here from Joe Biden dated 1 week ago today in talking about the Trump tax cuts. And he said, this tax cut is going to expire. If I'm reelected, it's going to stay expired. I did some quick calculations, and basically what that means is that there's going to be a 25% increase in the tax rate on people that make less than $44,000.
Yep.
there's going to be an additional $14,000 tax increase on people making less than $95,000,
Yep.
and additional
Buckle up.
increases on others up until making the $400,000. So if this tweet is right, that came from President Biden, he is going to increase taxes on people making less than $400,000.
President Biden has repeatedly issued a set of principles that will guide his negotiations, and he has repeatedly said
I
that
can send you
he
the
will
tweets.
not support increases on families making under $400,000. And I haven't looked at the tweet
I'm sorry.
myself,
I
but
really want to get to one
that
other
is
point
not
before
what
we run out of
he-
time. But I can send you this tweet if you'd like to see that later after the committee. But I do want to get and talk a little bit about OECD. I know it's been brought up before, particularly Pillar 1 and Pillar 2. I mean, I've stated several times in the hearing room that.
Okay, that's the part I want you to hear. I'm going to go forward
Republicans
just a
and
little bit
Democrats
here.
are in
Okay,
favor
you guys
of,
ready?
and I think we need to change course.
Okay, here we go.
I'm sorry I'm out of time. I'd like to talk more.
Okay, so what this gentleman, the next gentleman's going to ask her is around our debt, and she has to fumble through a piece of paper. Okay, she knows exactly. Well, Biden said this, but she doesn't know where our debt's at. And then on the back end of this guy's speech coming up, he literally shows the document that this guy is speaking of within there, where it shows that he is raising taxes on the middle class.
About this with you, but I'll yield back, Chairman.
Thank you. Mr. Smucker.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon, Secretary. I'm over on this side. There we go. Fooled me too. I'd like to just clarify with you for those listeners watching this today, the impact of your budget on the debt. Can you tell me the current level of our debt? What's the current debt amount?
Look at, she has to look through papers. How do you not know that?
It's about 34 trillion,
Yeah.
which includes debt held by the or intergovernmental debt as well.
That's right.
Okay, so we watched this video last week where basically at the back in this video, he shows a document where Biden is saying that he's not going to raise taxes on the middle class. It's all campaigning, guys. It's all campaigning, right? So we have to understand that during these times inflation is illegal taxation. They're going to get you through taxation or inflation. If they lower inflation, they're going to raise taxes. They're going to get you one way or the other. So what I've learned to do is to move my money through these waves of energy, right? So I use cryptocurrency as a very speculative asset. Okay, I move from the left side of the risk pyramid. We're heading into the bull run. I've been accumulating like crazy from 2022 when it collapsed down. As everybody panicked, I'd already sold before the bull run ended. I sold 50%. I should have sold more. I got close to 50%, and then I've been accumulating from 2022 to 2024. We're about 7 months away. It'll probably be a September, October. We should start to see the bull run kick in. I will calmly pull by using Merlin, the smartest way to track your crypto. I'll be exiting the markets. I'll pull it down the risk pyramid. I insure my wealth. I use cash value life insurance policies. I insure my wealth. I also put more money into businesses to create more cash generating assets, to put more money into speculative assets, to make profit, to pull it back down. You see what I'm doing? Speculative, high risk, high return, profit, down to legacy, safety, protection. Then I'm getting more into real estate. I'm going to invest more in businesses, right? Tangible things. Businesses give me tax write-offs. They give me cash flow, all these different things. And then real estate's going to give me appreciation and depreciation. Precious metals, silver, and then I'm using Bitcoin as gold. That's my simple strategy, right? So in the webinar series, I'm just going to break down, because everybody, the hype part has to get out of there. That's why, lottery winners go broke. That's why a lot of pro athletes have never had the financial literacy or financial discipline. When they get a large amount of money, they go broke, because there's a whole part that we're missing in this. And I know it's not exciting, but that's the part that I devoted my life to since 2020. I was in banking, guys, and I finally had to get my shit together. Like years later, I was like, wow, I was indoctrinated into this trade time for money. So much time I can't pay attention. But when I learned that if you can't make money while you sleep, you'll never be wealthy. Then I realized that I have to multiply the money. Then I realized safety and protection. Now, rule number 1, don't lose money. Rule number 2, follow rule number 1, Warren Buffett. Okay. So I know this is a longer video, so I'll wrap this up. But down below, you can set up a free consultation with my licensed insurance team. I want to be very clear. My insurance company is completely separate from the 3T Warrior Academy. The 3T Warrior Academy, tonight I'll be doing a absolutely free webinar series. I'll be breaking down my 5P framework. So if you want some motivation, some inspiration, I'll break down a little bit at a deeper level what I'm talking about. It's about a 45-minute webinar, about an hour. It'll take about an hour. And, you know, you can join. You just have to register if you want to invite family members. But I'll break down what we've done over the past 4 years to radically transform our families' lives. So that's the description video or my social media platforms. I love you guys. I appreciate you. As we always say, Warriors, rise, get your shit together. Love you guys.